Saving money can protect you from going broke, but learning how to invest can protect you from staying the same forever. And that is where most people misunderstand money. Because when you are struggling, saving feels like the smartest thing in the world. You finally keep a little cash, you stop spending everything, you feel more responsible. And for the first time, you feel like you are getting control back. And honestly, that matters. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Saving money alone does not make most people rich. It only slows down how fast they lose. Because if your money is just sitting there while prices rise, while life gets more expensive, and while opportunities keep passing by, then your money may be safe, but it is not really growing. It is standing still. And in a world that keeps moving, standing still can slowly become falling behind. So the real question is not, should I save money or invest? The real question is, which one helps you grow more and when? Because the person who only saves may feel secure, but the person who learns to invest begins to understand how money actually works. And once you understand that, your entire financial life changes. The person who saves money usually starts with fear. Fear of being broke, fear of emergencies, fear of losing everything, fear of depending on other people. And that fear is not always bad. Sometimes fear is what wakes you up. It makes you look at your bank account. It makes you stop wasting money. And it makes you realize that living without any backup is dangerous. So the saver begins to say no. No to unnecessary spending. No to impulse buying. No to pretending they can afford a lifestyle that is quietly destroying them. And that is powerful, because most people do not even reach this level. They earn money and immediately lose control of it. The saver is different. The saver starts building a wall between themselves and chaos. An emergency happens, and they are not completely destroyed. A bill arrives, and they can breathe. A problem appears, and they do not need to beg, borrow, or panic. That is the first kind of growth. Peace. Saving money grows your peace. It gives you breathing room. It teaches discipline. And it proves that you can control your impulses. But saving money has a limit, and the limit is this. You cannot shrink your way into unlimited growth. At some point, cutting expenses is not enough. You can stop buying coffee, stop eating out, cancel subscriptions, and live smaller and smaller. But eventually, there is nothing left to cut. And if your income does not grow, if your knowledge does not grow, and if your money does not work for you, then saving becomes a cage. A responsible cage, maybe, but still a cage. Because you are protecting what you have, but you are not learning how to multiply it.
The person who learns to invest is not just thinking about money today. They are thinking about money over time, and that is a completely different mindset. The saver asks, how can I keep this money? The investor asks, how can this money create more value? That one question separates two financial worlds. Because investing is not only about buying stocks, crypto, real estate, or businesses. Before any of that, investing is a way of thinking. It is the ability to delay pleasure, to study before acting, to understand risk, to stay calm when everyone else is emotional, and to see money not only as something to spend, but as something that can produce. And this is why the person who learns to invest grows differently. They do not just grow their bank account, they grow their mind. They begin to understand patience, markets, ownership, and why some people work forever for money while others build systems where money starts working with them. But there is a dangerous side too, because investing without knowledge is not investing. It is gambling with better vocabulary. A lot of people hear the word invest and think it means getting rich fast. They see someone online saying, put your money here, this will explode, this is the next big thing, or don't miss this opportunity. And because they want to escape their current life quickly, they confuse risk with intelligence. That is not investing. That is desperation wearing a suit. A smart investor does not chase every opportunity. A smart investor studies. They ask, what am I buying? Why does it have value? What can go wrong? How long am I willing to hold this? And can I survive if this does not work? That is real investing, not excitement, understanding.
The big difference. The person who saves money becomes better at control. The person who learns to invest becomes better at growth. And the truth is, you need both. Saving without investing can make you too defensive. You become afraid to move, afraid to take risks, afraid to learn, and afraid to put money into anything that is not immediately visible. You protect your money so much that you never give it a chance to grow. But investing without saving can make you reckless. You put money into opportunities while your foundation is weak. One emergency happens and you are forced to sell. One bad month arrives and you panic. One mistake hits and your whole plan collapses. That is why the smartest people do not choose one against the other. They understand the order. First, you save to survive. Then you invest to grow. Saving is your foundation. Investing is your expansion. Saving keeps you from falling. Investing gives you a chance to rise. Saving gives you safety. Investing gives you movement. But here is the part most people do not want to hear. The money you save is not the only thing you should be investing. You should invest in your skills, because the highest return for many people is not in the...
Why savers sometimes stay stuck. Some people save for years and still feel trapped. Not because saving is bad, but because they never move to the next level. They become proud of not spending, but afraid of learning. They keep money in the same place because it feels safe. They avoid investing because they think they need to be rich first. But that is backwards. You do not learn to invest after you become rich. You learn to invest so you can understand how wealth is built. And no, you do not need to start with huge amounts. You can start with knowledge. You can start by understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. You can start by learning what inflation does to your money. You can start by learning how compound growth works. You can start by learning why patience beats panic. Because the biggest investment is not always the first dollar you put in. Sometimes the biggest investment is the moment you stop saying, "I do not understand this," and start saying, "I am going to learn." That sentence changes people. But there is another side. Some people hear about investing and skip the basics. They do not have emergency money. They do not understand risk. They do not know what they are buying, and they just want results. They are not investing to build wealth. They are investing to escape pain. And when pain makes your decisions, you become easy to manipulate. You follow hype. You believe strangers. You enter too late. You sell too early. You panic when the price drops, and you celebrate when the price rises. Your emotions become your strategy. And that is how people lose money. Not because investing is bad, but because they tried to invest without becoming an investor. There is a difference. An investor thinks in years. A desperate person thinks in days. An investor studies risk. A desperate person only imagines profit. An investor builds slowly. A desperate person wants one decision to fix an entire life. And that is where many people get hurt. So who grows more? The person who saves money grows more than the person who spends everything. But the person who learns to invest grows more than the person who only saves forever. Because saving is the beginning of maturity. Investing is the beginning of multiplication. But the greatest growth happens when a person combines both. They save with discipline, invest with patience, earn with skill, spend with awareness, learn before they risk, and think long-term while everyone else is chasing quick results. That person becomes dangerous in the best way, because they are not controlled by every emotion. They are not impressed by every trend. They are not destroyed by every emergency, and they are not waiting for luck to rescue them. They are building quietly, consistently, and intelligently. And that is the kind of person who changes their financial future. Not the loudest person, not the person pretending to be rich, not the person buying things to look successful, but the person who understands that money has stages. First, you earn it. Then you protect it. Then you grow it. Then you use it to create freedom.
Most people never reach the third stage because they stop at protection. They save, but they never learn. They work, but they never build. They earn, but they never own. And years later, they wonder why they were responsible, but still not free.
Saving money is powerful, but saving money is not the final destination. It is the door. Learning to invest is what teaches you what is on the other side. Because the goal is not just to have money sitting in an account. The goal is to become the kind of person who knows what to do with money when it arrives. That is the real difference. The saver protects money. The investor understands money. And the person who does both starts building a future that does not depend only on working harder forever. So ask yourself honestly, are you only saving because you are afraid? Or are you saving so you can prepare for something bigger? Because fear can make you careful, but knowledge is what makes you grow. And the moment your money stops being only something you guard and becomes something you understand, that is the moment your financial life begins to change.